Hey everyone, good evening. I had a little bit of debate just now where I was going to make my video. I am in Rothenburg, Germany, and there was a few sites I was debating, but instead I'm just going to sit here and talk to you about this, and you can use my pictures to give yourself a visual. So this is a very well-preserved medieval city. It was a very wealthy medieval city, founded in the 1200s, so it's extremely old. It's fortified, meaning that there is a wall that goes around it, three sides with cliffs, so there's only one entrance. And it was a city that was rich because it had major trade routes that went through it as well. So it actually was not successfully conquered until the 1600s, in 1631 by General Tilly during the 30 Years' War, and he was a Catholic general that wanted to force the Protestant towns to return to Catholicism. And he actually had already attacked Magdeburg, Germany, killed I think 20,000 of the 25,000 inhabitants, and ended up attacking Rothenburg not for religious reasons, but because it was winter and he needed somewhere to camp. He initially was attacking the one side. They lost about 300 men, whereas Rothenburg only lost 2 because a peasant went to go check the gunpowder stock after 3 months of an attack, and he went into the tower with the gunpowder with a torch. So he died, as well as the one guy standing too close. So Rothenburg was taken over, and for 250 years, because of that, it just was a poor town. It kind of just, time stopped, stood still, nothing came about to try and keep the city going to return it to its rich days, until eventually the late 1800s, when the Romantic kind of period of Europe came, and many people came as tourists starting then. But then, of course, the theme of this entire trip and most of my videos, World War II happened, and this city was actually bombed partially by the Americans, specifically on March 31st, best day of the year, 1945. Partially destroyed, not fully, because it was a secondary target. It was foggy. They were trying to bomb a German supply station of some sort, but it was too foggy, as I said, and a German general escaped here with his troops from Nuremberg, which is already bombed. And what he wanted to, he had the orders from Hitler, of course, is never surrender no matter what. The Americans were going to go and attack the city in the hopes of, getting rid of these troops, but the Deputy Secretary of Defense called up the general and asked him to spare the city. He had not been here, but his mother had been, and he saw a painting of the city in his living room growing up, so he had this fascination, this fondness of the city. So he got that spared, and the Americans met on a stone bridge outside. I do have pictures of that. Outside of the city, where a deputy general for the Germans actually did surrender because the main general had been out. And so the Deputy Secretary of Defense, a few years later in 1948, visited the town. He became an honorary citizen. So after the war, the city, the tourist board, reached out to the world to say, please help us, please bring back the glory of this well-preserved medieval city, extremely well-preserved. And that's what happened. So now it's a big tourist place, it's world famous, and it's beautiful. I'm sure you saw from my pictures. But now I'm off. Bye!